Hey you guys, and welcome back. Today is Super Bowl Sunday, so we decided to make a treat. It was also on Friday, closing season for pheasants here in Colorado. So we thought what better way to use our pheasant than to make our favorite dish, which is jalapeno poppers using pheasant. If you're interested in watching, stay tuned. So there are only 2 of us eating this recipe, so we just made a half batch. But as always, the full recipe will be linked down below. For this, we have jalapenos, shredded cheese, bacon, pheasant, Lawry seasoning, soy sauce, Worcestershire. Does anyone actually know how to say that word? I have 2 different types of teriyaki, along with cream cheese, toothpicks, garlic powder, and garlic. This is definitely not the most healthy recipe you will ever see me making, but it is so delicious. Now I know I look crazy with a Ziploc bag on my hand, but I promise it is a great trick. I do not have gloves dedicated for the kitchen, so when I cut jalapenos or anything spicy, I just put a Ziploc bag on my hand. I find that it works just as well as a glove. One thing to be extra careful of, though, is it is a little bit harder to see what you are cutting through the bag, so definitely make sure that you're going slow and paying close attention so you don't cut yourself. Other than that, we are just having these jalapenos the long way, and then we will go ahead and scoop out the seeds. If you want your jalapenos to be a little bit more spicy, feel free to kind of take out the white meat part and then leave a few of the seeds on, as those are what carry a majority of the heat. Where I am washing the jalapenos, and if you're looking for just a little bit of spice, as you can see there are still some seeds left on there. Go ahead and just leave the seeds on, no need to wash them again. I just find that sometimes the jalapenos get a little too spicy for me, so I like to wash all the seeds off. I know that if it was up to Sam, we would keep all of the seeds in, but I am working on getting my spice tolerance up a bit, and then maybe one day we'll be able to keep all the seeds in. Now that I have cleared off the workspace, I am going to move on to cutting the pheasant. Here I'm just taking about 1.5 pheasant breasts, and I'm going to cut them into longer strips. Keep in mind the tip that I shared in our last video. If you keep the meat slightly frozen, it's going to be a lot easier to cut into strips. Then while it's sitting in its marinade, it will finish defrosting the rest of the way before we cook it. This really helps with making sure that you can get your strips and pieces the same size every time you cut them. So when we cook, it's typically me doing the prep work and then Sam does the meat. He is really, really good at putting together marinades, and I really struggle there, so we make a great team. Here we're gonna let Sam take over with all of his seasonings and sauces, and just remember we have the full recipe linked down in the description box. So we are going to let the meat marinate for about 15 to 20 minutes. This will give it the opportunity to do the final defrosting. While we're waiting for that, we are going to make the cheese filling. Now remember, I'm just making a half a batch. So for this, you're just going to mix together a half a block of cream cheese and about 3/4 of a cup of any shredded cheese that you have. Here you can see I'm using Kobe Jack. But I'm a huge advocate for using what you already have and not wasting food. So this is gonna be great with any shredded cheese. Sam is taking over on the meat cooking process. So as you can see, he's taking about a tablespoon or so of butter and is just going to smear that around on a nice hot pan. We are doing this just to help ensure that the pheasant doesn't stick and also to add great flavor. The point of this step is to just get a nice sear on the outside of the pheasant. So this is going on super high heat and it's really, really quick. You're gonna cook it for about a minute per side just to get the cooking started, and then we will finish it up on the Traeger. So So Sam is now going to walk us through how to assemble these. The first thing you're going to do is just take a bit of that cream cheese and shredded cheese mixture and just place that on the inside of the jalapeno. We find that it works really well if you just put it in with a fork and then smear it smooth with the back side of a spoon. This is really important to get nice and smooth because it's kind of going to be the bed for the pheasant. So as you can see, we're going to take 1 or 2 slices of that pheasant, stick it in the cream cheese. This really helps hold it in. And then we will wrap the whole thing with a piece of bacon. When we had less bacon, we found that a half a piece worked really well too. Obviously, it just tastes better with a full piece. Once wrapped, you're going to stick a toothpick through the center of it, and this will just help keep everything in place. Now that these are finished, we are going to put them on the Traeger. As you can see, we are using hickory. The reason for that is because we find that it matches really well with chicken and pork, and pheasant is very similar to chicken, and obviously these are wrapped in bacon, so we thought that hickory would be the best bet. Here we're just lining a tray. We put them directly on the tray to help catch some of the grease and to help keep the bacon from sticking to the racks on the Traeger. So we just line this for easy cleanup, put them on the cookie sheet, and then we will transfer the cookie sheet straight onto the Traeger. While we were getting everything assembled, I went out and turned the Traeger on to that smoke setting. We are going to put these straight onto the Traeger and keep them on the smoke setting for about 40 minutes. Once that 40 minutes is up, we are going to turn the heat all the way up to 450, and then we cook them there for about 23 or so minutes. The first bit of time, that first 40 minutes, helps just make them really, really smoky, and then the rest of the time, it just helps cook them all the way through. You can tell when they're fully done based off of the bacon. You really are just trying to make sure that the bacon is cooked through and the cream cheese will start oozing out. That's the other reason why we like to use the cookie tray. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Like I said, this is really one of our favorite things to do with pheasant. If you did enjoy it, please make sure that you like and subscribe down below, and definitely leave a comment and let me know what you would like to see us making next. Thank you again. Bye for now.